Did you guys watch the Super Bowl last week? Well, if you didn't, let me give you a little recap. The Eagles absolutely smacked the shit out of Patrick Mahomes and Taylor Swift into a blank space. And this is not a Love Island episode, okay? My name is Roman, and today I'm here to talk about how much companies spend on just one single ad in the Super Bowl. And by the way, it's in the millions. If that piques your interest, let me talk to her. There has been a Super Bowl every single year since 1967, okay? And in 1967, Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packers smacked the shit out of Kansas City Chiefs 35-10. Wait a minute, Kansas City? Does that mean Kansas City was in the first Super Bowl and in the last Super Bowl? Wait, that's kind of crazy. Coincidence? I think not. And you're telling me they got blown out both times? Something's a little suspicious. But there was over 25 million people that watched that Super Bowl. 25 million people. That is like a couple states. That is a big state. That is a lot of people. I think that's like the population of Canada, actually. That's how much 25 million people are. And that was just in 1967, okay? In 2025, nowadays, we have over 130 million people watching the Super Bowl. Let me repeat that for you. 130 million people watching the Super Bowl.
Hey, boy, ain't no fucking way, boy.
That's just absolutely crazy. You know, that's a medium-sized country. I mean, I think there's only like, 300,000 people in the United States or some shit. It's a lot of people is what I'm trying to say. So 130 million people watching the Super Bowl now, you know, you have to imagine with that much people watching that the cost of ads has to be crazy, exorbitant, astronomical even, okay? But the thing is, you know, back in the day, a Super Bowl ad costed $37,000. And you might think $37,000 isn't a lot of money. It is. Well, if you calculate it into the inflation calculator in 1967, if they paid $37,000 for one Super Bowl ad, it now costs $350,000 in today's money. $350,000? Yeah, we're getting somewhere, okay? That's a lot of smackaroos. But that was just in 1967, you know, with more people watching the Super Bowl and inflation going up and up. The Super Bowl ads just cost more and more. And back then, you know, I remember when I was a kid, a Super Bowl ad costed like, I don't know, $1 or $2 million in my head. And when I was doing research for this video, I was thinking, you know, maybe it costs $3 or $4 million now. I'm not entirely sure. But when I went to do research, it did not cost $1 million. It did not cost $2 million, $3 million, $4 million, $5 million, even $6 million. It costed a total of $8 million. What? $8 million for a Super Bowl ad sounds ridiculous, retarded even, okay? $8 million is crazy. And, you know, with $8 million, that means in the future it's gonna be over 8 figures. And I just can't imagine someone paying 8 figures for an ad. You know, probably in 2028, we're gonna have our first 8-figure Super Bowl ad. And $10 million just for one ad just sounds so crazy to me. I can't even begin to describe, you know. Imagine paying $10 million for one ad to run one time for 30 seconds. You know, I hope you have a great marketing campaign, because if your ad completely sucks balls, okay, you just wasted $10 million just on the ad alone. And I'm not talking about, you know, paying for like the ad to actually get made. This is just to put the ad on the Super Bowl. And so, you know, with so much money involved now, you know, $8 million. What can you do with $8 million, guys? Do you know how many Happy Meals you can buy with $8 million? That's like 2 million Happy Meals or some shit. Like, that is a crazy amount of money to be spending on one ad. And for it to just keep going up and up every single year just sounds astronomically crazy. I cannot still believe it. But with people spending so much money on an ad, you know, you can't have that shit flopping. But the thing is, ads is actually part of the Super Bowl watching experience. And I mean, you know, when I say that out loud, you're like, well, I mean, obviously, if you watch the Super Bowl, you're gonna see the ads. But what I mean is, it's kind of tradition to watch a Super Bowl and watch the ads on top of the Super Bowl, because the ads only play that single time during the Super Bowl. And because of that, people will watch specific ads, and it's usually the best ad that a company can make to be put on the Super Bowl for branding reasons. And so people watch the best of an ad. Because why would you spend $10 million to put some basic bitch ad on the Super Bowl? The thing is, I think a lot of people watch the ads on top of the Super Bowl, on top of the performance, You know, people don't just watch the Super Bowl, the performance, the halftime, you know, the teams playing. I mean, most of the time, if you're even into football, your team isn't even playing in the Super Bowl. It's like, what, 32 teams and only 2 teams play? So you got like, what, a 5% chance or some shit? Like, you're not watching the Super Bowl just because you want to watch the Super Bowl. The ads are part of the tradition, and when a company spends so much money on these ads to be placed on the Super Bowl, they better have a pretty good ad. And because of that, you usually end up with very experienced and well-known ads, such as
today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives. We have created for the first time in all history a garden of pure ideology where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of being contradictory thoughts. Our unification of the rules is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, with one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
And
hey, Mr. Smith, want to try out my time machine? It runs on Doritos.
Sure. So now what?
Gotta put the whole bag in.
Okay.
Yes.
It's really working, Jimmy! This is the greatest moment of my life! Get out of my yard! Jimmy? You're so old. It's the future!
And also,
So I'm having this dream. I'm in a Turbo Z. And these guys are after me. But they can't catch me. So they get a car. But they can't catch me. So they get a plane. Just as they're about to catch me, the twin turbos kick in.
so overall, it's a great chance for a company to get recognized and branded well when you have a really good Super Bowl ad campaign. And because of that, a lot of companies try to do their best, do something crazy, something different. And it just, sometimes it works really well. Like I remember when I was a kid, I watched the Taco Bell dog ad, which was Yo quiero Taco Bell. I mean, shit was amazing.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
And so because of that, you know, there's just been so many good ads overall that I think it's a good opportunity if you have a really good marketing campaign to really set yourself against the competition. And also, your competition probably isn't spending $10 million for just one ad like you. However, I would like to say that with all this in mind, you know, what comes next for the NFL? You know, 130 million people watching the Super Bowl right now. And, you know, it's probably going to be like 150 million by next year, right? And NFL football, American football, is expanding internationally, as you can see from these articles right here. They're trying to expand to Australia, China, New Zealand, Japan, South Korea. I mean, those are just a few of the countries mentioned that the NFL is trying to expand to play games in. And you know, I think the big reason why American football isn't really well known or well played in these other countries is because of the startup cost. You know, it costs a lot of money to just suit up your people playing in these suits, helmets, and you know, have a ball and everything. You know, it's all metal and like really well padded because you're constantly hitting each other. This isn't just like, you know, you're playing soccer, football, and you're just kicking one ball and everyone just wears whatever they want. You know, it's just like shirt and pants and some shoes. And you might mention, well, what about like the Canadian League? First of all, no one cares about the Canadian leagues, okay? Enjoy your maple syrup, Canada. I'm sorry, but no one really cares about the Canadian leagues. And in general, these ventures have failed time and time again. You know, even Donald Trump invested in one of these ventures of trying to play football outside of America. And honestly, it seems pretty fun, and it seems like the people in these other countries are really enjoying it. But overall, like with the NFL expanding, that only just means more and more money for the NFL, more and more money to the ads, and more people watching the Super Bowl. And with that in mind, what do I think about people watching football or the Super Bowl in general? Well, personally, I think it's a great thing because, you know, the Super Bowl is kind of like a get-together. You know what I mean? You bring a party, bring friends, and they all kind of just meet up and just kind of chill, watch a game, watch a halftime show, watch some ads, you know, watch a game being played between two teams. And even if you're not like paying $10,000 for a ticket, you're still getting a pretty good experience, you know, probably drinking or messing around with friends, having, you know, your own crazy experience. I personally was fighting during my Super Bowl. I personally was fighting during my Super Bowl experience, and I'll play a clip right here. And overall, you know, it's just a really fun get together for people to meet up and have an excuse to drink and party, have fun, and, you know, maybe, you know, but overall, I think it's a great thing. But hey, if football's not your cup of tea, I completely understand. And overall, I think the Super Bowl is a great way of getting people introduced into watching football or having fun with friends. What do you guys think about Super Bowl ads being so expensive? Did you guys know it costed that much money to make a Super Bowl ad? I mean, $8 million is crazy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts and your opinions about this. And my name is Roman, aka YoungBizWhiz. Thank you guys so much for watching and have an awesome day. Take care. Peace.